What, in my opinion, is the best counters to the Italian. I have a 65% win rate with this counter gambit. So after the Italian, you play f5, which is the Rousseau counter gambit. Now on Lichess, this has a very high win rate, but I play more on chess.com. I'm using this because it's a free engine. So now there's three main variations, and then there's a side variation which I'll show you. So the first one, which is if they take, you go e4, knight g1's forced, and then you play knight f6 instead of playing d4, because if you play d4, sorry, this queen attack is really dangerous, but you're not even losing. You play king e7, and there's a bunch of continuation after this. But for me, it's a little scary. So that's why I recommend playing knight f6 first, just to get rid of the queen h5 threat, and then you play d4. You basically get the center. This is a free pawn. You just have a very good position, very attacking, or just you're up a lot of development. Now if we go back to the main position here is another variation. Just they go knight c3. This loses, but not. This loses just in the opening, not into the middle game, like what happens if you do take the f-pawn. So here they take your e-pawn, and it blunders a fork. You're just going to be up material. If they, for some reason, do this, just counterintuitive, you just start attacking their pieces. And now here is what I recommend to play against the Rousseau, and this is what is the most common refutal, or like not accepting the gambit. It's where you go d3, and then your main idea for your piece development is knight here, your bishop goes here, and then you play here, and then you develop your bishop and queen, and you castle long. So a continuation could be something like this. You put your bishop on d7, or you can fianchetto it. I prefer d7 because it keeps it active on this file, which is attacking the king. And then you move your queen there, and you long castle. And then you put not your rook there, because that's there, but you start moving your pieces towards here to start an attack on the king side, because if you look at it, pretend this bishop isn't like attacking that rook, but you have two rooks attacking. They're like straight at the king. My arrows will draw. Your bishop is pointing at the king. Your other bishop's about to get in on the king. So say something like that, and then that's about to go in attacking the king. Your knight's about to jump in on the king, and then this knight you can very easily rotate this knight and something like that onto the king. So you're just very aggressive while your opponent doesn't have that many options, where this bishop's pointing in the completely wrong direction. This bishop's kind of active. This knight's barely active. It's not having any threat, and their more valuable pieces are just on the back rank doing nothing. So now here is the only side variation that I've played against. It's not like common, but I played against this today. It's if they go queen e2. Now this is because it counters that by pinning the pawn, but you could quite easily just go here and you just have like an exchange of queens later. So say something like that. You end up being up 2 points of material, but they win that, and something happens. That's like the only thing. But if they decide to pin your pawn, you pin it back. If they should not be attacking with that pawn, because that's just an immediate loss. But if this happens, you want to put your knight here. I don't know, they move this knight here, I guess. But actually they move it back to g1. You want to put your knight here, and then your pawn here. Standard, it's like similar to the first variation, except the queen's in the center, and you need to be more cautious about putting it onto the d pawn, moving your d pawn forward, because it's only gonna have one thing protecting it, not two. So that is the Rousseau, which in my opinion is the strongest counter to the Italian.